I'd like to share something which I think is very important. It has crossed my path in several variations, in several instances, and also with the coaching, that at the moment there is a huge transformation in process. The light wants to come through, the love wants to come through, and at the same time there is a huge, I think, a huge wave of dark energy or interrupting energy that wants to interrupt and to stop. So for that, one is called to be very cautious and very attentive of things that are coming through or things that is being heard, if that is really the truth, or if one is being used from dark energy or interrupting energy to interrupt. And then it shows those energies or those, I don't know what it is, they use all sorts of appearances, of course, looking very nice, but in the core or underneath it, they're not. I also feel these interruptions. They show themselves in the kitchen with a lot of moths, or they show themselves like I walk into something, or they show themselves like they want to hurt me somewhere, in a bodily, physically, and they even use Galimero at times. And I also must be very cautious. And I know it since about, I'm conscious of it or clear about it since about 12, 15 years. For me, these energies didn't exist, never. When people talked about it, I said, fine, talk about it, but for me, they don't exist, and they never did. Until I realized, or until I was shown when I was in Berlin, it was like as if the earth would go away underneath my feet. Not even like quicksand. It was like I had to keep holding on to something because I thought the earth underneath me is going away. When you feel I was the channel for something, then go and sense well whether or not this is a true channel or not. And of course, they take two. They take the ones who shine the most. Of course, those are the best target. And second of all, they take the ones who are marching towards that wall to be crossed. When they come and you sense into it, you realize when you go further, there is nothing there. They look very nice, or they even send you a crystal pyramid because they know that's what you react to, and then finished. Vice versa as well. The light beings use people who look difficult, like Trump. They look difficult, but in a way, I keep saying the same thing. We have to see how much he awakens through his craziness. And it's exactly the same, but vice versa. Not exactly the same, because it's not manipulative. They're more like path showers in a completely different way. And many people, they put him down, but yeah, he wakens people up, even though he doesn't do that on purpose. I keep reflecting, is this me or is this through me? In any way. We just had a very interesting encounter last week, and I reacted in a way, I was like, how do I react here? And I went into it, and I went through it and through it and through it and through it again to filter whether or not this reaction or action is really the honest and right reaction, Or am I being used for something and not very nice at all, not nice, or very challenging in relation to a third person? I think it's a very important topic that needs to be looked at, and I really lay to your heart, be very, very, very attentive, self-reflective, and go through it again and again and again. Scan, 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 scan. Ask again. Look again. Is it really the truth? Feel into it. And I tell you, it's very, very difficult because sometimes the antennas need to be very, very fine-tuned because they're very slick. So I don't like to call them dark energies. It's interrupting energies, or yeah. Within this whole process, we need to stay within love, but we need to stay very clear. Very, very clear. Maybe I give you a tool so you can do something with it. Of course, I said self-reflect, I said scan. We said to ask them and then there is no answer, or not much energy. That's a very good thing. One other thing is when something like this happens, then it kind of feels good. It feels maybe even something that you haven't felt before. And then maybe sit with it and see what happens. And I realized that when things like that used to happen to me, maybe those few times when mostly that energy or that information or whatever it was starts to fade in a way. It starts to fade in a way. There's thousands of variations how it can fade, but it fades in a way. And also when there is like a border crossing, then that's definitely not the light or the love. What I also sensed is I feel the time we're in right now is stirring up, or I mean for yourself, but also with what's around you, is just visualize taking a crystal into your hands. Maybe sometimes you want to take a crystal. Sometimes you just visualize taking a crystal into your hands. That calms down right away, because sometimes I think when you want to enter a crystal, sometimes that takes a little bit more energy, and sometimes maybe you don't feel like going into a crystal, or you don't feel like going into a crystal when you're in the middle of the street. Yes, of course you can do it there. But in visualizing yourself holding, just like you have your hand like this, and you visualize taking a crystal into your hands. Or maybe just like this, in a humble way. And things calm down very quick. And that also supports in seeing clear or clearer. And the remembrance sign grounds. So visualize the remembrance sign, or you can also put your hand on your jewelry, for example. Put your hand on there and something happens. At the same time, it's like an emotion of putting your hand on your heart. To me, it means so much more than, I mean, this is a very powerful gesture. I've taught it, I've used it, but I've come away from it again. I'm not using it anymore because, of course, it's before the heart and it closes the energy of the whole system. But like this, I think it it gives much more really the connection to the heart. And with this hand, I can still act or go into action. So, and also you can feel yourself. Hold your hands like this. I know that's very powerful. I taught it many years. It's a very, very powerful action. Sense it. Feel it. What does it do with you? Where do you sense something? And now take your left hand and bring it to your heart. And sense again. Where do you sense something? What do you sense? And release. So I'll play just a few tones to radiate love into the field. May our hearts be full of sound. May our hearts be clear and cleared. And thank you for being on your path. Thank you.